Borat. I like you. I like sex.
In 2006, Borat became arguably the biggest cinematic event of the year. A comedy made on a relatively modest budget, it follows a clumsy Kazakh journalist who travels to the US to film a documentary about the greatest country in the world, but ends up falling in love with Pamela Anderson instead.
Pamela, what do you marry me? Sorry.
The film grossed over $250 million worldwide and earned Sacha Baron Cohen a Golden Globe. Many publications instantly included Borat in their lists of the best films of the 2000s, and a wide range of celebrities, from Johnny Depp to James Cameron, publicly declared their love for it.
Come on and make my day, Jew.
But Borat didn't just win praise and awards, it also stirred up a wave of controversy. Sacha Baron Cohen faced over 10 lawsuits, and several countries outright banned the film from theatrical release.
Nice to meet you.
Yo, get the fuck out of here before I break your jaw, bro. Yo.
So, how did a film shot on a shoestring budget and with almost no script spark such a storm of debate and such wildly different reactions? And how did Sacha Baron Cohen, through a single character, manage to offend two entire countries at once? Sacha Baron Cohen's comedy career began long before Borat. Back in the mid-1990s, he was already appearing in a popular British sketch show. Yes, Cohen is British, where he started developing various characters. One of them was a Moldovan journalist named Alexei Krikler, who came to the West and struggled to understand how things worked.
I suddenly realized that this was a way of getting people to reveal stuff that they normally would never say on television. Because they felt, oh, this is in going out in Moldova, who cares?
But the most iconic character from that era was Ali G, a hilariously dumb, over-the-top parody of a wannabe gangsta Rastafarian, dressed in bright yellow glasses and tracksuits, always mumbling,
Booyakasha! Respect!
Sure, today the Ali G show might seem a little silly, but at the time it was groundbreaking. The concept of prank comedy hadn't yet taken off, especially in the UK, where people were more used to refined British humor like Monty Python or Fry and Laurie. And then suddenly this guy shows up, dressed in red, wearing a ridiculous beanie, inviting scientists and religious leaders to debates just so he can proudly declare he's not homosexual. Because, well, you know, he's not, if you catch his drift.
Respect!
In the same chaotic style, Ali G would interview unsuspecting experts on topics like science, the media, and animal rights, only to throw out something like,
but how do they really know what exists and what is the conspiracy things? Because I know I have seen a picture of J-Lo with two, massive geezers dongs there, and apparently it weren't true.
I haven't seen those pictures.
Well, you should check them out, it's amazing.
Naturally, for audiences at the time, this was a complete mind blow. It shattered every expectation of what comedy was supposed to be. You can still find compilations of Cohen's best Ali G moments on YouTube, but I recommend watching two specific interviews from that era. First, his interview with David Beckham.
Every boy wants to be in his boots, and every man wants to be in his missus.
Some of the jokes in that one are still way over the line, even by today's standards. And second, Ali G's interview with none other than Donald Trump. Yes, that Donald Trump. Of course, this was in the early 2000s, long before he became president, but still, watching that interview today feels completely surreal.
What is the most popular thing in the world?
Music.
No.
Tell me.
Ice cream.
Okay.
To be fair, credit where it's due, Trump figured out he was being trolled in under 90 seconds and walked out. Once the Ali G show blew up in the UK, it was quickly picked up for broadcast in the US. By the mid-2000s, Cohen had become a pretty well-known comic in America. To give you an idea of how big Ali G was at the time, Cohen gave a speech in character at Harvard University. And in 2005, Cohen appeared on the Ali G show with a brand new character, Borat. Though to be fair, Borat had technically shown up once before, in a lesser-known British show, but he was still far less famous than Ali G or Cohen's other wild creation, the flamboyantly Austrian fashion reporter Bruno.
And I saying hi.
Saying hi from Daytona Beach, Florida.
To Austria Gay TV.
Say what? Austria Gay TV.
Riding the wave of his growing popularity, Sacha Baron Cohen eventually made a feature-length film called Ali G in the House. But for some reason, it was fully scripted, meaning it completely lost the essence of the character, whose charm came from unscripted interactions with real, unsuspecting people. The movie did reasonably well at the box office, but reviews from fans and critics were largely underwhelmed. Cohen realized something important. He didn't need to make polished, high-budget studio films. Instead, he could just take an episode of his show with all its raw, unpredictable energy and expand it into a feature. And that's exactly how he ended up in America to make Borat.
But I saw some dark parts of America, an ugly side of America, a side of America that rarely sees the light of day. I refer, of course, to the anus and testicles of my co-star, Ken Division.
Borat, Cultural Learnings of America for Make Benefit Glorious. Nation of Kazakhstan tells the story of a clueless Kazakh reporter who travels across the US with the dream of marrying Pamela Anderson. Accompanied by his producer, he embarks on a road trip across the country. But honestly, that plot is mostly just an excuse, a loose framework to justify the film's real purpose. Borat's encounters with a wildly diverse group of real, unsuspecting Americans. From drunk frat boys to Christian evangelicals, feminists, gun shop owners, etiquette coaches, and more. For many viewers, Borat is remembered mainly as an outrageous shock comedy, the kind where Sacha Baron Cohen harasses people on the street, masturbates in front of a Victoria's Secret display, and wrestles naked in a hotel room. Stuff so over the top that even Saul Goodman wouldn't try to defend it in court. But here's the thing, it's in Borat's unscripted conversations with everyday Americans that the film really comes to life. And that's when you realize something deeper. All this talk of political correctness in the US, which was already a hot topic back then, often exists only in theory. In practice, what people say when they think no one's watching is a very different story.
I ain't gonna kiss you. Stay away from them to kiss.
Okay.
You don't want no bad kissing.
In my country, they take them and they take them to jail and finish
Take them out and hang them.
Yes.
That's what we're trying to get done here.
High five.
Now, think back to Sacha Baron Cohen's original idea, that people will say anything to a journalist from some distant, unfamiliar country simply because, well, who cares, right? And in Borat, that idea worked perfectly. You sit there watching the film, and you genuinely can't believe the absurd, offensive things people are willing to say on camera. It's jaw-dropping.
Are women your slaves in Russia?
No. Do you have slaves here?
No slaves. No slaves.
It is a shame.
And Borat.
Big
Borat.
shame. Big shame.
It would be better country if...
Yes,
Yeah,
there
but
would be
Borat-
better country. We should have slaves.
And here, it's worth pausing for a moment to give credit where it's due. To Sacha Baron Cohen's sheer skill. Many still see him as just a goofball or a prankster, but honestly, he deserves to be considered one of the finest actors of our time. And before you rush to the comments to call that an exaggeration, just stop and consider it for a second.
When I do these performances, sometimes they can last up to many hours long and sometimes a few days long.
The way he fully immerses himself in his characters, never breaking role, no matter the situation, that's worthy of serious respect. It's been said before, but it's true. Cohen combines the craft of a top-tier actor with the fearlessness of a stuntman.
Can you teach me how to dress? How can I be like you? What's up with that vanilla face? Me and my homie Azamat just parked our slab outside. We're looking for somewhere to post up our black asses for the night.
In a way, Sacha Baron Cohen can even be compared to someone like Daniel Day-Lewis. Both are known for fully immersing themselves in their roles, rarely breaking character during production. The difference? Day-Lewis always knows what's going to happen next in the script. Cohen, on the other hand, had to improvise every single time, reacting in real time to completely random people.
And in the real world, real people perform like bad actors. They're suspicious, they look you up and down, or they start squinting. And so you're reading the other person's face. So that's when it becomes really difficult. If you're doing an interview with 6 people, sometimes you can be in a room with 40 people where you are trying to see if there's anything going on, because I have to be prepared for anything. You as the actor have to be ready to answer any question that the person you're with you asks. So where did you go to school? Where were you brought up? What do your parents do? Where did your parents, where were they from originally? Who are your best friends? You have to be able to answer any question.
Even when promoting the film, he appeared on talk shows as Borat, staying in character the entire time. In fact, the only person in the entire movie, aside from Cohen and his co-star, who actually knew what was going on, was Pamela Anderson.
She told me one time, she goes, I'm going to show the movie to Kid Rock. I said, how did it go? And she said, we're getting divorced. And I went, ha ha. She said, no, we're actually getting divorced. She filed for divorce the next day and put reason for divorce. She wrote Borat.
And since we're talking about controversy, let's stop pretending there's no elephant in the room. Naturally, as soon as the film was released, it was accused of pretty much every sin imaginable: sexism, homophobia, racism, and anti-Semitism. Which is especially ironic when you consider the fact that, believe it or not, Sacha Baron Cohen is Jewish.
Although Kazakhstan a glorious country, it have a problem too. Economic, social, and Jew.
Beyond the lawsuits from random individuals and human rights groups alike, Cohen's biggest conflict wasn't with a person, but with an entire country, Kazakhstan. The country's Ministry of Foreign Affairs seriously threatened legal action over the way their nation was portrayed in the film. In response, Cohen, as Borat, recorded a video mocking the whole situation.
I have no connection with Mr. Cohen and fully support my government's decision to sue this Jew.
Naturally, the film was banned from release in Kazakhstan. For several years, officials simply ignored its existence altogether. But in 2012, something unexpected happened. Kazakhstan's foreign minister publicly admitted that Borat had actually boosted international interest in the country, and that visa applications to Kazakhstan had increased tenfold after the film's release. And by 2020, in a full circle moment, the country officially changed its tourism slogan to
"Very nice."
Of course, Borat was never meant to mock Kazakhs. The character was simply a convenient vessel, a clueless outsider from a faraway land used to troll Americans who, let's be honest, couldn't find Kazakhstan on a map if their life depended on it. Because of their own ignorance, they accepted everything he said at face value.
May George Bush drink the blood of every single man, woman, and child of Iraq.
And if you watch Borat with a bit more nuance, something interesting happens. Yes, many of the people in the film say absolutely ridiculous, offensive things.
You're in America now. You'll make it. You keep going.
You are bigger than a woman. You are better than a woman.
We'll always be behind you.
Do not let a woman
We'll always be behind you.
ever.
But many others turn out to be kind, compassionate, and genuinely try to help him. And that contrast is what makes the movie so much more than just a gross-out comedy. So, despite all the lawsuits, protests, bans, and controversies, Borat became a landmark film. It sparked debates on politics, race, social norms, and identity. It inspired a wave of imitators, and yes, it made millions laugh with its idiotic toilet-level humor. And that's what makes it even more surreal. You can watch a serious interview with Sacha Baron Cohen. Listen to him speak in a refined British accent about medieval art, dramatic structure, or the purpose of satire. And then remember, this is the same guy who once washed his face with toilet water on camera. But after Borat's phenomenal success, Cohen hit a rough patch. A string of follow-up comedies failed to land with the same impact. Each new film felt less like a bold new idea and more like a rehash of old tricks. He even tried his hand at more serious roles, working with Tim Burton, Martin Scorsese, and Tom Hooper. But his most ambitious dream, to play Freddie Mercury in a biopic, never came to life. At least not in the version Cohen had envisioned.
I mean, there are amazing stories about Freddie Mercury, you know.
Crazy.
The guy was wild. I mean, he was living an extreme lifestyle. That
Debauchery.
I mean, there are stories of, plates with cocaine on their heads walking around party. So,
What a scene.
but you got to remember, and I understand it, they are a band. They want to protect their legacy as a band. They want it to be about Queen, and I fully understand
So
that.
why didn't you have that discussion with them up front?
My first meeting, I should have never carried on because a member of the band, I won't say who, said...
Brian May.
I won't say who.
Yeah.
But he said, this is such a great movie because it's got such an amazing thing happens in the middle of the movie. I go, what happens in the middle of the movie? He goes, Freddie dies.
Middle of the movie.
I go, all right. So you mean it's a bit like Pulp Fiction? The end is the middle, and the middle is the end. I go, all right. That's really that's a wild movie. All right, that's interesting. I never thought about that. He goes, no, normal movie.
It seemed like the peak of Sacha Baron Cohen's popularity, and more importantly, the peak of his comedic brilliance, had been left behind in 2006. For most people, he remained frozen in time as that absurd Kazakh journalist with a gray suit and a thick accent. But in 2018, Sacha Baron Cohen made a stunning return.
Who's America?
Who is America?
Who is America?
Who is America?
With the series Who is America, he introduced an entirely new set of characters, and once again did what he does best, trolling the American public. The show premiered on Showtime and quickly became a ratings success. Clips from the series went viral on YouTube, with some episodes racking up millions of views. Each episode was packed with jaw-dropping moments, but the most unforgettable was the one featuring Congressman Jason Spencer. And honestly, you just have to see it to believe it.
Touch you, I'll touch you with my buttocks. Nigger! Nigger! Nigger!
Think about it. An actual sitting U.S. congressman was tricked into believing that Cohen, in disguise, was a former Mossad agent teaching him self-defense. He performed absurd, humiliating stunts on camera. Naturally, Spencer was forced to resign immediately after the episode aired. And that, right there, is a perfect example of what smart comedy can do. Even if just a little, it can change the world for the better. What do you think about Borat? Drop your thoughts in the comments, and I'll catch you in the next video.